Hey Wolfpack, Angela Wolf here, and I hope you noted the later time of 2 p.m. I had a meeting this morning. So here we are. I've got a really fun thing for you today. It's so nice to see you all. By the way, this is called wet dog hair because it's pouring out. Cindy, I got to give you a shout out. Today is the day for my bad hair day. Check out this cap. Cindy, you are awesome. Cindy King sent me some fabulous hats. 2 of them are already on the boat. One's in my car and one's right here. And she's got the Angela Wolf on there. You made my day. So you all are bringing me such luck for fishing. Although we didn't have very good luck last weekend fishing, we'll work on it for the next tournament, which is in like 3 weeks. So I got 3 weeks of luck to work on. But Dara sent these beautiful, beautiful baits, which those are on the boat too, so I can't even show you right now. I did take a photo though. You got to see these. Custom baits showed up. I actually had Win use it on our practice day. So here is your photo. I didn't post it on social media because Win took a very bad angle. Well, this one's better, but you can't see the bait. So there's the fish that I caught with the lucky bait. I have to send her a note here. And then here is the photo, but let's see if I can slide it over. Like the girls were in the photo, if you know what I mean. So I'll slide it this way. There's the lucky bait. The photo was not very modest, so I did not post it. But the bait was lucky. We caught some great fish, but we didn't win the tournament. So I see you all rolling in today. We are talking about getting in your closet or getting out of your closet, finding tops that are too short, and you want to fix them, right? Who doesn't have that problem? I do. I know that. So pop in, say hi, say where you're from. I'm live streaming on my YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, Facebook, like and follow, and Twitter and Twitch. Now grab your tea and I'll be right back. All right. I see you all rolling in. I know it always takes a second for the live shows to show up in all the locations. So I always like to give you a second for all the people who are live. If you're watching the replay, well, you'll just have to have patience. All right. So I found this top. Now, I did not make this. I've had this in my closet forever. And you probably know why. Because I love pink and I love black. And it's super soft. It's like a sweater fabric. But every time I put it on, it's just too short. It fits great everywhere. It's a tank top I wear under my black sweaters. It's just too short. And so unless I'm going to wear super high-rise pants, which I can't stand, I got to make this shirt longer or I'm going to have to give it away. So, hey, Karina, nice to see you. And everybody. All right. One thing I forgot to ask you. Sound good, everybody? Can you hear my sound good? Yes, you must, or you'd be complaining. Okay, so I found in my closet, maybe take a look over here. I think it's this one here. Nope, that's a different top. I found a sweater, and the sweater is actually the same, very similar fabric. It's not the same, but that's a long sleeve turtleneck, which you know I hate. I mean, I love the fabric. I just can't stand anything super high on my neck, and I'm always roasting. So here's a nice V-neck. I could potentially add sleeves to this, but that's not really what I want to do. I just want to add length. So in order to do this project particularly, I've got a few ideas for you that I'll share. But today, it's this one. I want to find a fabric that's very similar in texture. It could be a fabric off of one of my bolts, or it could be a fabric from another top that I want to refashion, which is the one I have there. So this is, let's see what the content is. It feels kind of like a rayon. Wrong. 80% cotton, 18% nylon, and 2% spandex, meaning it's a super soft, great stretch, has good recovery. I need to find a fabric that's very similar, unless I'm going for a totally different look. But I really want this to look like a top I bought, not something like you could tell, oh, I'll bet you that shirt was too short. I saw it on Angela Wolf show, and now you added fabric to it. That's not what I want it to look like. I want it to look like that's a cool shirt. So let's go back to the table, and I'll give you some tips for this. You can ask your questions and everything, and when I finish, I'll come back and take those. I see the whole wolf pack in here chatting together. I love it that you all have made friends from all over the world and all hang out on the live show. It doesn't get better than this. Okay, so this turtleneck here, I know black is hard to see on camera, so bear with me, but this has a nice stretch to it. It has, the content for this has to be very similar. It sure feels very similar. Well, yes, this one is rayon. Rayon and cotton feel very similar. Rayon's just might be a little softer on this one. 78% rayon, 18% nylon, 4% spandex, and this one had 2% spandex. So this will be fine to combine because this is a rich black sweater and this is kind of a sweater knit. So this is what we're going to do. Now, if I wanted to be really boring, I could take this pink and I could take this black sweater, cut it off here, add my pink, and what do we have? We have a turtleneck that's longer. I don't like that. So instead, I'm going to cut up my turtleneck and we're going to color block this, color piece it. Let's see, you can probably see it better this way. All right, here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my bigger scissors here. Well, I can hear the irons ready for me. All right, so the first thing I want to do, because I'm going to color block this, the front and the back. So I could just cut this up the side. I could cut this wherever I'd like to, but I'm going to need to open the side seams. So turn this inside out. Now, if your top is too small for you, you can also add side panels, but I know that's a little hot on the camera, so let me just darken this up a little bit. Wrong way. How's that? A little better? Ooh. Let's go this way. I'm looking at this upside down. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, righty brighter, lefter loosey. Here you go. Take your side seam. And I'm just going to cut right up this side seam. I'm just going to cut in the middle of it because I'm going to be serging this or sewing the side seam right back up. Now, I don't want to go all the way to the armholes. Why? Because I don't need that much room. I'm just kind of extending the length. And this armhole's finished so nicely already with a nice binding. I don't want to get into that. We're trying to make this an easy peasy project. So here's another side seam. Making sure I'm not cutting through the bottom layer there. So I'm just going to stop maybe 3 or 4 inches below my armhole. All right. Are these both about the same width? Well, they're pretty close. All right, on the turtleneck, I know I'm not going to need the sleeves. I'm not going to need this upper arm area, so I'm just going to cut the sleeves off. I'm leaving myself a little seam allowance because as far as refashioning goes, I could totally use these for another project, right? That looks weird. All right, here's the other arm. Cut this one off. And we have another 2 arms and a sweater. And we don't need the neck, so let's go ahead and cut this turtleneck part off, which this, by the way, has ribbing. I could use this for something else, I'm sure. So let's just cut this off and save it. Oh, we didn't need that label. All right, so what are we left with? We have gotten rid of 2 sleeves and a turtleneck that we don't need right now, but I'll save these for later because this is a great sweater and you could add it to a shirt, to refashion, you know, something like that. I don't know, but I'm saving it because I love the fabric. That's why I have held on to this sweater I'm looking at the brand. I think I bought it, I don't know, 10 years ago. Yeah, something like that. 10 years ago. All right. I just see an under bust band. There you go, Vicky. Although that neckband, I don't know if it would be a good under bust band. The other band might be. Shirley, happy birthday to your husband. That's awesome. Congratulations. I thought so too, Angie. I thought it would be a good idea too. All right, I'm just making sure you don't have any questions, and I'll go back over there. Yeah, I know. Okay, let me take this down, get that off the screen for you. No questions? Okay, making sure. Perfect. All right, let's go back to the table. Keep them rolling, though. I can go back and watch. There you go. All right. So now for those of you that might be super new to color blocking, you might want to make yourself a pattern, or you could trace this and kind of give yourself a guide. The one thing you need to keep in mind is wherever I'm going to cut, you want to make sure that it's a straight path that I can actually attach the other fabric to. So if you're going to get all crazy and have a few little areas where you're going to add fabric, you just need to make sure you can sew from one end to the other. If it's from here to here or here to here, that's going to attach to there. You have to have pieces that will sew back together. I also don't think I want a seam right in the middle of the bust, and I love angles. So I could actually add a few angles in here, add the fabric in, and then see what we come up with. So because the back and the front, I'm just going to do both of these. I'm going to cut both of these at the same time. I just think it'll be easier. Remember, you're going to have to add a seam allowance. If you're using a serger, 3/8 of an inch is fine. If you're using a sewing machine, you might need to go to 1/2 of an inch because the sewing machine sometimes with knits gets a little wonky. So let's do the front and the back at the same time. I'm starting to cut right up here where my slit is, giving myself a little bit of room. Let's go up a little higher. So there's the opening. And let's just go down on an angle. Kind of a curved angle. All right, separate that. And let's lengthen that a little bit. So this is what we have. I'm going to need to fill this in. So I'm going to just turn this to make this so it's parallel to my grid. I think it'll be easier for you to understand what I'm doing. All right, let's slide this up. Now, I want to add fabric, but maybe I want to add it. Do I want to just have a panel there? Or do I want to have some pink and add some black? It's totally your choice how you end up doing this. I'm just going to lay my black fabric underneath. I could use this binding at the bottom as the bottom of the tank or of the shirt. And if I add it like this, let's see what we have. So there's the bottom. And then let's see, how much more do we need? So I think I'm going to cut this bottom off. I don't think I'm thinking as I talk to you. I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to cut off this bottom panel. So this is the ribbing that's going to be attached to the bottom. All right. Then I have this piece here that will attach to that. And what I'll do is I'll stretch this to meet. All right. Now I need to add some fabric here somehow. What about I'm going to start. Let me slide this out of the way. I'm going to start up here. So this will fit in there pretty good. Remember, I have to add a seam allowance, so I'll fold this up a little bit. What I'm doing is lining up my grain lines of both of my sweater and my remake. So if this is my sweater, I don't want to be cutting things like this. You want the stretches to be going the same place. All right, so there's that piece. We'll sew those two together. And then we have this piece here. sew this together. So I know I need to add a seam allowance. Let's just lengthen that just a little bit. There. And let me just start down here and I'll slide it up so you can see it. So here's the top. It's going to be sewn to here. This is going to be sewn to here. Slide this up. And this is going to be sewn to here. So now I have like a band. It almost looks like a cheerleader band. Where else could I add just a little bit of fabric to make it look not quite so much like it's supposed to be that way? What about if we add one more panel and I could just sew this in place? I don't have to cut the fabric. What if I add one more panel like this? How's that looking? Pretty darn good. So let's get started. I need to cut up the sides of this sweater. And then we'll take this to the sewing machine. I'm just going to be using a contrasting thread. I would use a serger, but my camera doesn't like a serger. Usually it starts blinking. So I'm just going to use a sewing machine so you can see better. And then I will take this back and run it through the serger. All right, so the first panel I have is this here. Put it wrong sides together. Throw a few pins in there. If one of your fabrics is not as wide as the other, you'll just have to do the best as you can, and then you'll be sewing your side seams closed anyways. So, all right, a few pins to keep this in place. Shirley, what are you doing for your husband's birthday, by the way? I don't know if I missed that comment, but I'm curious. All right, so this is the front piece. Then this will match to the back here. So turn those right side together. So I'm basically using all of my pink fabric. I'm just using the black sweater as a way to add some color blocking. All right, so there's my back piece and my front. Now let's take this front piece and attach it here. Anybody else have a birthday today? I know my niece's birthday is coming up. The twins are turning 4 next week. Oh my goodness gracious. So exciting. All right, so that is the top piece then. And then this is the bottom piece. And I'm just pinning this so I can walk it over to the machine without losing which side is which, right? Making sure that I'm going to move this over just a little bit. All right, so we have our back piece and we have our front piece. And I'll turn it sideways so you can see the whole thing. So we have kind of a band, but I still have more fabric up here, so I could go back and reattach this somehow, which would be kind of cool. It would kind of tie it in a little bit. So I'm leaving that for now. I'm just going to baste this together so then if I decide to open up another seam, I can. So let's go to the sewing machine. Oh, I know, Karina, they're 4. I can't believe it. Little Carter's 4. I know. I was thinking the same thing, Yvette. They were just born. Now that she's having another one in November, there's going to be 4 little ones running around. So exciting. I know. Oh, Joan, happy anniversary, 32nd anniversary. How exciting. All right. Oh, thanks, Joanna. Let's go to the sewing machine. I'm going to baste this together. I'll meet you over there. All right, so for now, just gonna move you back a little bit. Hopefully Blinky behaves. I'm just gonna pick a basting stitch, which is a sewing stitch with a stitch length of 4.0 or 5.0. I mean 5.0, that one. All right, and I'm using some light colored thread so you can see this. And I'm just gonna use a real small seam allowance because I am going to be, because I'm going to run this through the serger shortly. I know, my slang. And my ends don't match up, but that's okay, because when we sew our side seam, we'll fix all of that. All right, that's one panel. Let's go do the next one here. This is why I pin it all together. Then I can just rush to the machine and finish sewing all of these sides together. I think this is going to be a super cute top. All right, and I'm also basting it because, you know, if I go back and decide, hey, you know what, I'd like another panel of fabric on here. I just think that one band is not enough. Or maybe I want to add embroidery, anything like, oh, embroidery would be kind of cool. Pink embroidery on that black. Ooh, I might have to pull out some cool designs. I went through, I don't know how you guys organize your embroidery designs, but I went through my box of embroidery designs. Yes, I still have a bunch of old CDs. I had, I think, 8 of the Momodini designs, which, you know, I spent a ton of money on because I bought them at shows. I love their designs. They're so lightweight. They look great on garments. And I think there's a lace one that might look really cool with this. I'll have to go back. But anyways, I pulled my CD player out for my computer and downloaded all of them. So I've never even opened them out of the package. Isn't that terrible? Do you ever come back from a sewing show and you end up with a ton of stuff and then you forget about it? You move on with life and then you're unpacking later, like try 10 years later, and you're like, oh my gosh, here they are. I didn't know I had these, or I forgot. Well, that's what I think I might do. Oops, that one just went over the bump just a little bit. That's a really bad stitch, even if it's a basting stitch. So this is basically 4 seams that I'm working on right here. All right, that side looks pretty good. Now let's go to the other. Did we finish? Yeah, we finished them all. All right, let's go back to the table. Okay, here's what we have so far. And then the back. So it actually looks pretty good. I'll have the black for the bottom. Now I left the original hem down here. So if I try this on and say, hey, you know what, I don't want that the black band at the bottom. Maybe I don't need it. Maybe I don't want it. Sorry, that will, I don't know. Let's go back to the table. I have a few ideas. Vicky, wait, I got to come back. I'm walking away. So Vicky, you have fabric that you bought in LA in 2015. Okay, that's pretty good. I think I could beat you on that, but it would be close to a tie. I'm just curious to see what everybody says on that. Oh, thanks. I thought so too. I'm thinking embroidery though. I might have to add that. Oh, Mary, I'm with you. Oh, Stacy, I wish they did too. If you go to a sewing event, I'll tell you what, it's so much fun just to see people, but there's a lot of really cool things you can buy there. So, all right, I'll meet you at the table. I can never remember what number the table's at. All right, so this is what I have. I'll put this on the side because I think you can see the whole thing better. There's the back, the front, there's the back. Now, if I want to add something to kind of tie this together, I could. This is the binding I was thinking of adding. So this would kind of scrunch in a little bit. I think that ties in a lot. I really like that piece. And then what about at the top? Should we do anything at the top? So I'll baste this together. Now, I'm not going to cut the side seam for this because this is a binding. I left a little bit for a seam allowance. Once I attach that, I think that's going to be really cute. I think I need something else up here. And I do like this piece that I have. It has a finished edge. I wonder if I could just, well, I'd have to cut it, but I'd have to add it to the seam, basically, is what I'd have to do. But here's an idea. This is a finished edge right here, and this is already sewn so nicely. I wonder if I could just slide this right into that armhole. It's not the same grain line, though. But I'll bet you I could. I bet you this would work. So what I'm going to do is cut off, because I'll just use this on the front piece. I'm cutting about 1 inch away from my seam allowance there. That's all finished in a nice knit way. And now I need to insert this somewhere. If I start there and go to here, I'll need to open up where I sewed because I want this to be combined into that seam. So let's see what we have. I think I've salvaged my favorite pink shirt. This is why we do the basting stitch, because I can just open this up just a little bit like this. All right. And I don't think that's going to be in a weird spot. That should be fine, don't you think? So I know I have a seam allowance, so let me move over just a little bit on here. Making sure I don't cut through the back. And I'm cutting through the armhole like I said I wasn't going to. This will fit in there just fine. But because I have this finished edge, I can utilize that. So I'll slide this up just a little bit so you can see the pins. All right. Now what about the other side that has to fit in there? Well, let's go sew this together first, and then we can piece that in. Yeah, Pam, I could have applicated on, but you know, the bad part though is that would add some extra fabric. That would be like a double layer of fabric, and this is a pretty thick sweater knit. And also, this sweater, I just feel would start to fray. I'd have to really applique it with a lot of stitches, and on a sweater knit, it might stretch out. But I have a finished edge that I'm going to utilize. Never take a wasted opportunity there. Let's see, I'll need it right here. Okay. There it is. Then here's my underarm where I can just fold that right in. So we have to go back to the table so I think you'll see better over there. Now I don't think I have to do this to the back. I mean, the back doesn't matter so much. It's more the front. Okay, so we sewed this piece together. That looks great. Now we need to figure out how we're going to squeeze that in. So this was the original right here. And this goes all the way out to about here. I'm just going to fold this back because I have to have a seam allowance, remember. So let me tuck this in, then I'll know exactly. I think I'll use some chalk just to mark this. Once this is sewn, this will be the sewing line on my sweater. So I can cut just a little bit more away. Oh yes, that's going to be super cute, much better. So take this, flip your top right side or wrong side out. There's my seam that I have to sew. Here's my black fabric with the chalk marks on it. So I'll just start right up here at the armhole to make sure that matches. Another UFO project off my books. All right, let's go sew that. Oh, you're welcome, Pam. Yes. Thanks, Pat. I can see some of you talking that it must be late to the party that see the new hat that Cindy King made. So, by the way, Cindy and her family have a wonderful business, custom embroidery. So, if you need something good, you might want to send her a message. I was very excited. And Cindy, you get an A+ because you know I have a very small head. You must pay attention to what I say. And that's the first hat that I've ever worn that's not a kid's hat, unless it is a kid's hat, that actually fits my head. Yay. My little pea head. Okay, so there's my basting stitch. Now this, I had a little bit more of a seam allowance on this one. Let's flip this over and see what we have. It's looking pretty good. So here's the front. So now I'll have to run that through the serger, but the armhole, take a look. Because I have that finished edge right here, which I know is hard to see when it's black, but I can just flip it under and just run a nice top stitch right there. And guess what? The top is the exact same size. I've just added length. So by putting that slash here and then adding this panel, I've kept the same width and the same size. So I will run that through the serger, both of those seams, and then I will re-sew this seam here. It's the same. Make sure it's the same, unless I have to redo it. I might have taken it in just a little bit, but I'll double check that. Let's go take a look at one more thing. All right. So I didn't add width anywhere. I only added length. I saw people asking about that. So this here, I didn't add width. I took this piece out and replaced it with this piece. Make sense? I do notice that this is a little bit loose here, so I'll go back. I'll rip this out and make sure that's nice and tight. I must have had just a little bit too big of a seam allowance there, but it should be fine. Because once I sew the side seams together, everything will match up again. But I will remove this from here to here and sew this so it's nice and flat. Make sense? Now I've got a big panel. Maybe I should add this little piece of pink somewhere just to make sure that it looks like it's supposed to be there. So I could, gosh, just about anywhere. Do you have any preferences? That kind of looks cool. So again, I would do the same thing. So if I want to add it here, or I'm looking, I love this because you can just kind of place things around to see where you might want them. I actually kind of like it meeting right there. It's almost like a little star. But what about, I don't know. But this is the process. Once I figure this out, I will draw myself a chalk mark. That's where this panel is going to go. I will draw around this piece. I don't know if you can see those chalk marks. And then give yourself a seam allowance towards the inside and cut that out. And then I can sew this. You just have to make sure that this goes from seam to seam. So I'd have to make sure that this panel's open, and I'd have to open this seam here. You can't just like add a piece unless you're doing an applique. And I just don't think that's going to look very good on the sweater. So I'll keep playing with this, and we'll finish this next week by putting in the binding at the bottom, because first I want to try this on, get this sewn together, and see how long this is. I might have to actually cut some of this pink off at the bottom. I added quite a bit of length here. I mean, 4 inches, a good 4 inches. I think this is going to be very cute. So what do you think? That is your lesson for the day. Rehabbing sweaters. You like it where the points meet, Deb? I kind of did too. Oh, you do, Denise? Oh, you like that. You like the star. Okay, that's what it will be. And then some of you like it on, I will go back through and read your comments. I kind of like the 2 points meeting. It kind of makes it look like it's connected. So that's where I'm going to go with it. You like it? Okay. So I'll finish it next week with you, because I'll run it through the serger, get all the pieces finished and pressed, and then we'll add that binding, sew the side seams next week, and add the binding. Thanks, Susan. So also my next project is going to be this top right here, which is just a simple t-shirt. I don't know why I like it. I wear it for pajamas, basically, not pajamas, but lounging around the house. It's just too short, and I just want to add some vibes to it. Like, it's so boring. I think I probably paid $5 for it, so I'd probably be wasting more fabric to fix it up. But I like it. I like the neckline. I like the way it fits. I just need a little more length. So that's what we'll be doing next. But in next week, we'll sew the side seams, add the bottom panel, unless I find anything else I decide to add to that. I'll check out the embroidery. You like where it's now, Vicki? Where do I have it on there? Oh, I just said it there like that. Okay. Thanks, Angie. It's just fun. And you could try this, by the way, on an inexpensive shirt you have, anything like that, it'll work. So before I go, did you get your newsletter this week? I think I sent it out, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday. This week has flown by. We had an awesome knits class. Darlene, thank you to you and your wonderful, wonderful group in Ohio, American Sewing Guild, for those of you that don't know that. And I did send out a 20% off coupon for the week for Angela Wolf Patterns and the app. It does not work if something's already on sale, but it's 20% off, and the coupon code is capital letters, spring. Can you all hear that? Should we go outside and see what wind's doing on the boat? Spring 2022. So it's capital letters. Let me just bring that up for you. And this is only good until Sunday at midnight. Spring 2022. There you go. And that's the coupon code. 20% off all embroidery designs, all embroidery stabilizer, anything that has to do with embroidery. I also added knit fabrics in there since we just had a knits class. Why not? And any patterns. So some of my patterns I have, I'm redoing some of the patterns. Some of them will not be in print anymore. So if you get an error for shipping or something, just email me. It means it's probably out of stock. Some of the older ones I'm just leaving to PDF, and I'll just focus on new ones. Deb, you did not get a newsletter, so email me, Deb. If you can send me an email, I'll make sure that you're in there. I think it went out on, do you all remember what day it went out on? Monday or Tuesday, because I gave the discount. What is he doing? Can you hear that? Should we go see? Let's see. I've got 5 minutes before I have to leave for my meeting. We better go check on Win. You know what happens here. All right. For those of you that have to go, that was the end of the lesson. For those of you that just like to watch what's going on, let's go check. Stacy got it on Tuesday. All right, you all, check your spam folders. Gmail has been very terrible if you have a Gmail, but I did send it out on, was it yesterday, Susan? Yeah, okay. Hold on a second. I'm going to just, let's bring our phone outside and see what the heck Win is working on. It sounds very scary, actually. I won't say anything unkind, but every once in a while I hear this. So for anybody who didn't, why don't I just post the newsletter in our Facebook group? No, Victoria, you're on. All right, here you go. I'll post it right here, right now. So anyone who didn't get the newsletter, make sure that you open it and make sure you're added to the list correctly. Sometimes Gmail will go and put mark me as spam. I don't know why. Not me, just me, but any newsletters. I'll put that here, and then let's go check on Win. So here's the newsletter. It went out May 16th. And I'll just, here you go. Here's the link. I will put the link right here. You can read the newsletter. I talked about the knits class. You can still go back and watch the replay, but you'll miss the live. But it also has the discount in there. Oh, and put it in your promotions. Thanks, Vicki. Yeah, they have all these new folders now. All right, let's go see what Mr. Wolf is doing. I know you guys can hear that. Oh, you don't have Gmail. Oh, Angie, well, I'm sorry you didn't get it because I know you're on there. You're welcome. Some of you got it. I know. Win will love that, won't he, while he's out there sawing? All right. I'll put myself on mute. Hold on 1 second. I don't want there to... All right, the camera is not working. I'll walk over here and see if it works, okay? But let's see if I can get this to work. Hey, Win. We're on the live show, and I can't get my camera to work to show you, but we're really wondering what the heck you're working on out here because it's really loud. A Dremel? Oh, I never even thought about that. I hate the dentist. A Dremel. Okay, so you're live. We just needed to know. Okay, I'll see if I can. That's okay. We're going to see if we can get you on camera because we might be right back. Oh, yes, we do. All right. Hold on a second. All right. I've got him. Are you ready? All right. All right. Sorry. I'll walk away. Here we go. Hi, Win. So we really want to know what you're working on. Okay. Having fun. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, hopefully there wasn't too bad of an echo. I know it does that, but He says hi. If you could see his little body back there. A Dremel. Yes, it did kind of sound like a dentist office, but not any time lately. So, all right, everyone. I see Bev. I see your message. Yes, I will take care of that. No worries. I haven't gotten to it yet, though, in case you're wondering. Everybody's saying hi to Win. Awesome. And anybody who did not get a newsletter, I just posted it in the comments. Click on it and make sure you subscribe. Okay? If you go to angelawolf.com, because there's an old newsletter that I don't use anymore, make sure you got transferred to the new one. Just go to angelawolf.com. There goes the noise again. Scroll down, and where it says get something, get the news, get something, that's the newsletter. Make sure you sign up right there. Okay? And then you won't miss another newsletter. Oh, yay, you found it, Renee. It's almost like a treasure hunt. Where in the world does Gmail and your email put the newsletter? Who knows? Who knows? He is shy, definitely. He's jazzing up the boat. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great day. I got to run. It's nice to see you. I hope you noticed the later time and you weren't waiting patiently for me. Fashion Sewing Club. We have our next live Zoom next week. In the meantime, don't forget to go back and watch the replays because this was the fabulous top. If you missed it, you might want to catch it this weekend. We actually draped this beautiful neckline on this top. It's absolutely gorgeous. I have a little bit more sewing to do with it, but I showed you how to drape it and sew it. We sewed the entire collar. So it has like little gathers here and comes down. Isn't this cute? So anyways, it's in the club. You can watch the replay. I think our live session's next, I don't remember, next Tuesday or Wednesday. It's in the club. All right, everyone. I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to let you go. Have a wonderful day. It was wonderful to see you, and post photos of your pattern hack to make your shirts longer. Something we all need. Bye.